All right, and we are live. Hello, everybody. My name is Matt. I always forget to introduce myself, but I'm Matt, one of the co-owners of Mysterious Galaxy, and I have the great pleasure of introducing Kaira Rouda, whose new book is The Next Wife that came out just about 2 weeks ago, right?
Yep.
And in conversation with her are Liz Fenton and Lisa Steinke. So they're going to have a great conversation for 30 to 35 minutes. And then we're going to open it up to all of your questions in the audience. So if you're new to Crowdcast, but I know a lot of you aren't because I recognize some of the names. But if you're new to Crowdcast, right below, not sure exactly where I am, but there's the Buy Books button. It will take you directly to our site where you can find all of the author's books. And for The Next Wife, you can get a signed and personalized book plate, right?
Yep.
And let's see. If you have a question, there is the Ask a Question tab there. It will pop up. You can ask whatever you want of any of the authors. And then to the right or below, if you're on your phone, you'll see the chat, and y'all can talk with each other about how much you love the books and the authors, and share any recommendations or just have fun. I don't know. There's always good chat. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to the three of you, and I'll be back at the end.
All right. Thank you. And thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Kaira, it's so good to see you. Not really seeing you, but I'm seeing you.
I know. It's so great to see you guys, too. It's been so long.
It's been a long time.
We did our holiday library tour.
I know. I think that was it. The little libraries in the elf costumes. So fun.
So fun. So cute.
I know. So cute. All right. So how are you guys?
We're good. We're just plugging along over here. Things are starting to open up. It's exciting. We're vaccinated, so
yeah,
complain, right?
I know, it's great. It's great to be back open again. And you guys are doing like a TV segment on books, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's so fun. I love that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to pick books every month and share them with Shally, and we have a lot of fun with that. But we're really excited about, I know you guys, I have the book, but you guys have where's the sun?
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Am I doing
that? Yeah, you're doing it right. You're doing it right. It's the best cover. I love this cover.
I know, it's so good, isn't it? I know,
really.
I love it. It just kind of
It's really good, and I'm going to ask you about it in a few minutes. So, but it's really good.
Have a bunch of hard-hitting questions for you.
You do? Oh, I love that.
Hard-hitting.
We are in conversation.
You're ready.
I should probably keep my glasses on then.
I know, right?
Damn it. I know.
The questions are so bright. You got to wear shades. Or my ring light's so bright.
I know.
My light is so bright.
Weird tonight. I like the lighting.
I don't know why it's so bright, but it's really bright.
You're glowing. You're glowing, girl.
I have a huge ring light, and I still look like I'm in the dark, so it's fine. All right, let's get this party started. Liz, do you want to read Kaira's bio?
Yes, I would love to. So I'm Liz Fenton, and I'm here with my best friend of 35 years and co-author Lisa Steinke. We are the co-authors of 7 novels, including How to Save a Life, which came out last summer. It's a dark, heart-pounding love story with a Groundhog Day twist. But we're here today to celebrate Kaira Rouda and her new book, The Next Wife, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. She is an accomplished business leader, entrepreneur, national speaker, and internationally best-selling and award-winning author, a former magazine editor and society columnist. Kaira won the Stevie Award for Women in Business for creating the first female-focused residential real estate brand, Real Living, and growing the brand to more than 22 states before its sale to Berkshire Hathaway. Her first book, Real You Incorporated, 8 Essentials for Women Entrepreneurs, led to a national speaking tour where she inspired thousands. Turning to a full-time writing career, her most recent works are Best Day Ever and The Favorite Daughter, and also The Next Wife, which published on May 1st. Kaira lives in Southern California with her husband, Congressman Kaira Rouda, and her 4 20-something children, who, by the way, I'm just going to ad lib this, who are the best-looking children I've ever. See why you had like 5 million of them? Like,
every picture looks like a greeting card. Every of your family. I can't handle it.
You should have sold your DNA, for God's sake.
Oh my God.
Every picture is like.
I'm glad I have my glasses on.
And then they're all very accomplished in their own right. Like, it's just a very accomplished, beautiful family.
Yes. So.
Thank you. Oh, great. My dog. Hi, Frankie.
Oh, and your dogs too. Your dogs too.
Your dogs are very accomplished.
Your dogs are also supermodels.
And very heavy.
Yes. Oh my God, so cute.
Okay.
Well, like I said, I'm going to ask the hard-hitting questions over here. So tell what's that dog's name?
That's Frankie.
Yeah. All right. So The Next Wife has received high praise, and readers are obviously loving it as it's an Amazon charts bestseller. It's been on the list 3 weeks now. Is that right?
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, amazing. Publishers Weekly had this to say about The Next Wife. Rouda keeps the reader guessing as the plot takes plenty of twists and turns. Suspense fans will get their money's worth. And I loved this one. Sarah Pollock from Culturist said, Kaira Rouda's new book, The Next Wife, is like Gone Girl on crack. I thought that was great. So
I love that.
Tell us what The Next Wife is about. And there's a slightly autobiographical element to it as well, which I thought was interesting. So
yeah, there's a smidge, I would say, Lisa. This is a smidge. So, okay, The Next Wife, a lot like Domestic Suspense. As you guys know, we can't talk a lot about the plot, but we can kind of talk about where the characters come from. So here's the backstory. Kate and John Nelson fall in love during college. They get married. Kate has a great idea for a business, and so they jump into it and create this business. Along the way, they have a perfect daughter, Ashlyn, and things are going fabulous. They've got the business of their dreams, their great daughter, like life is great. And then John falls in love with his executive assistant, Tish, and then ends up marrying her. So that's the little twist in the whole fairy tale for John and Kate. So when the story opens, John and Kate are celebrating the IPO of their company, Event Co. They still worked in the business together. Tish also works in the business, still as John's executive assistant, and their daughter Ashlyn's a summer intern. So that's how the story opens. They're all in the conference room, and there's a little tension, let's say.
And so your little twinge of like real life, how did that play in?
Yeah, so Harley and I, my husband and I ran the company together for 10 years, and it's tough, man, because what happened, I mean, the stress of that all day, and then you come home and you're trying to raise kids, and the kids are like, stop talking about work at the dinner table, and then you're like, right, we got to talk about these guys, and then there's really no room for a marriage in there a lot of times, so
I have a special delivery right now, you guys.
Oh, the sunglasses.
There we go. Finally.
Oh, thank. Okay.
Mine are actually
saving the day. I like it. I
love it. Okay, so but that was a while ago. So
it was.
Did you kind of just file that and think I might want to use this for a future book, or like why did it come out now, or how did you think of this idea? I guess.
Yeah, I think a lot of life experiences that you guys have too for writing, they sit around in your brain for a while, and a lot of times they're too poignant to bring up right away. I didn't know that Best Day Ever, Paul, was based on all my tremendously bad bosses until after I wrote it. And then I started talking about him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like Wes and Myron and all those guys just came out. So I think it's been back there. And then, you know, like you hear about these stories all the time, like the Kate and Andy Spade story, and then just recently Bill and Melinda Gates. So it is something that happens to a lot of people. So I think we were kind of lucky to make it through that, Harley and I. And yeah, so it just came out because when my books start, they start with a character, and Tish jumped into my head and she was in the company.
I have to say two things. I've read all your books, and when I'm reading them, I'm always like, she knows a lot of jacked up people in her life. And then also your narrative is really distinct, I think, and like your books definitely have a brand and flavor to them, which I really enjoy. Like I remember being on you and I were doing an event together, Kaira. It was actually right after Lisa and I's book came out, and you read the first chapter of your book, and I think it was before you were just going to edit. So it was a while ago, and I remember thinking, damn, that book sounds really good, and so you do just a really good job of bringing these characters to life that should be so hateable, and in a lot of ways they are, but they're also so interesting. Can you talk a little bit about like the balance with that?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously it doesn't work for everybody, as you can tell from my 0-star people are like, I hate Tish. I'm like, no, you got to just give her a little chance. Yeah, because I mean, just like in real life, everyone's not all good and not all bad. I mean, there are shades of gray with everyone. And so I think what I'm trying to do with my maybe a little diabolical characters is give them some sort of humanity so you can relate to them. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes I do it with dark humor because I like that. And my characters seem to like that too. So hopefully, I mean, you can relate to, I mean, each of the women in the story are fighters, and they're really strong, and they know what they want, and they're not going to stop at anything to get it. So, I mean, that to me is an admirable quality, and maybe their choices of how they go about things might not be exactly nice sometimes, but yeah.
Well, I'm curious, you know, when you are thinking of your characters, how much goes into each one before you start writing, or is it just you jump in and they just develop as you go?
Yeah, it's kind of the latter. It's I really do. I'll have a title and then a character, and when it's all coming together the way that it's fun for me, and then I'll just start writing. And so in this case, in Best Day Ever and The Favorite Daughter, was first person narrator, one person all the way through. And turns out it's kind of fun to have more people talking. So Tish was in like ready to run the show, and she was gonna, and then all of a sudden this character Kate comes in and she's like, oh no, there's another side of the story. So she jumped in, and that was fun. And the funny thing about this story in particular is the original draft, Ashlyn, the daughter, had her role too. And so I thought that was important. She's 20, she's been around, she's seen a lot go down with her parents and stuff. And so I submitted it to my agents. They're like, we love this story, but we just don't think the daughter needs to be in there as a point of view character. I'm like, oh, okay. I trust them. So I go back, I take her out, resubmit it. We submit it. And then the editor who acquired it, she's like, I really like this, but I really think the daughter needs a point of view. I'm like, yes. So Ashlyn came back stronger than ever. So anyway.
And so are they the same when you begin, or do you get to know them more and then go back and do a bunch of editing? Because I know for us, and we typically don't flesh out the characters a lot. And so we'll go back and kind of work on them after we get to know them. Is it similar for you, or do you just get it on the first try?
I'd say there's always edits, right? I'd say like little pieces of her. I tend to hold too much back, especially backstory. And so my edits are always like, can you tell us a little more about this? I'm like, are you sure that's not going to bog it down? But really, people need to know.
Yeah, but that's a good point, because, we've written a couple of thrillers, and it's hard to know how much because you want the pace.
Yes.
And we were sent back a lot, like, give us more. And it's such a hard balance to find. I guess that's why we have editors, right? It's
hard though, because I feel like, and not in every book, but I think there's been a couple books where they're like, give us more. So we give them more, and then like, you're giving us too much.
Yeah.
God, I don't know what to do. Like, I can think of one book. We wrote Girls' Night Out. We didn't give enough. Then we gave too much, and then
we gave way too much. Way too much.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
being like,
about the people. Yeah, I know it is.
I think we just threw up all over everybody in that, but we just didn't know what to do. So it's like,
I remember when you guys were going through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, every book's such a different experience, right? I mean, some books just are like, they're there and they're so easy. And I guess it's like kids. I don't have anybody home. Oh yeah, I do have one mom. When some are so easy and just carefree. And then the next one is, you just got to work harder for it.
Yeah. What is your writing process like? And has it changed since, day book one, or have you always kind of approached it the same way?
I know. I feel like I've always approached it the same way. I've had different agents and editors who want me to approach it different ways. So I've always tried to kind of adapt a little bit. Right now, my agents want me to give an outline before I write everything. And that's, the opposite of what I do. So we've come to an agreement where it's just a page or so, not a lot, just so they know where I'm headed before I go all the way there. So anyway, so I guess it has changed a smidgen in that respect. So I'm going to go ahead and agree to give a little tiniest of outlines, like little words, few words, one page. But anyway, so I guess that's changed, but not really. I think.
Oh, so I guess we know you're a pantster. We don't need
it. Yeah. So this one page, have you had to do that? Did you have to do that for this, or you have to do it for the next
one? Yeah. No, actually the next one after that.
Okay. So you haven't actually done a one page and then had to write a book with that one page yet, or have you?
Yes.
And how did that go? Did you have to stay right to the one page, or did they give you, or did you have flexibility in there? I'm just curious because
they had input into my one page, and so then I'm like, okay, are we all good to go? Because I'm like, here, don't want them to know too much. It's all
right.
They're like, wait, we're on the same team. I'm like, are we? We just don't know shit yet. I mean, we are, but it's hard. Yeah. So
when you've been doing it one way for a long time like that, to have to kind of lay it all out and then stick to that seems like it would be hard.
I think there's something to be said, particularly when you're writing thrillers, that even if it's your editor or agent, you still want them to be like, oh, with the twists and turns. And Liz is asking the additional questions because we have a book out on proposal right now, and we had read it. We wrote 75 pages to go out, and then they wanted an outline, and so we don't really outline either. And we wrote a pretty significant outline. But part of me was like, oh man, now they're gonna know how
it's
like.
Yeah, now they know the ending. Darn it, I know. It's not as much fun for us, but I think everyone else.
They want to copy a book. They want to know how it ends.
Yeah, they want to control. I guess.
Are you guys doing thriller again?
No,
we decided. I don't know. We're somewhere in the middle. We're like kind of a friendship rom-com, high concept situation. Yeah.
Oh, I bet it'll be great.
High concept. We'll see.
Yeah.
See.
Awesome.
I still hear something about it at some point.
Every time I talk with you guys, as you know, I'm always, which most people are like, I want a writing partner. I want to be, like a partner, because it's lonely being the one doing the outline when you've never done an outline, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right.
So, congratulations. I'm glad you guys figured that out and got the outline together.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was, yeah. Well, okay, so back to you. We can talk about ourselves, so, you got to be careful with us. We'll talk about ourselves the whole time. Do you have a favorite scene in the book that you can kind of talk about without, I know it's hard because you give something away, but talk generally about or get the readers excited about?
Well, it is really hard to talk about, as you know, but I do, this is a favorite scene because I've had a lot of people say it's one of their favorite parts of the book, so I'll just follow along. So when the story opens, like I said, Kate and John, first wife, the only husband, and then the next wife, Tish, and Ashlyn are all in this conference room. They go to this party, and Tish has decided that she needs to get John away from this situation. There's too much baggage, and she's a little worried that he's like maybe liking Kate again or something. She just can't figure out what's going on. So she whisks him away to Telluride, which is where he had proposed to her 4 years previously. And, it's like their special place. Of course, it was actually Kate and John's special place originally, but that's another story. So anyway, so they get there, and Tish decides they should go for a hike the first day they're there. And John's, has high blood pressure, so he's not feeling that great, but he agrees because he should, he's trying to make her happy, just appease her right now. So they go for a hike, and as they're walking through this meadow, a rattlesnake darts out into the path, and John pulls Tish back and saves her life. And it's in Tish's perspective, and she says, "That was nice of John to save me from the rattlesnake. Not smart, but nice." I love that part.
Oh, that's a good line.
It's great because Tish is actually kind of telling you how angry she is with him in that little setting, right? And John is kind of still saving her when maybe he should be watching his own back, actually. Yeah.
Right.
And sorry, go ahead.
Right. Well, I was just going to say what I found interesting too about the different perspectives was how differently the different characters saw the same, situations. And I think that is, what I really love about multiple narratives, and you did it really well because you read it from her point of view and then you read it from his point of view, and you're like, oh, okay. Oops. Right.
Yeah. And that was so fun for me too, because like I said, in Best Day Ever and The Favorite Daughter, you had this narrator who knew everything, and you're trying not to let her or him say too much. Mm-hmm. And in this case, you could stop the scene with whoever's talking because she's about to give something away and have someone else jump in, and how they see it, just like real life, is completely different, right? Same situation.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think I read, just to tell you, Ride, that you and your family have spent a fair amount of time there. So is that why you chose that as a location? And obviously because of the year we had, maybe you weren't able to go back. So was it through memory that you wrote about it, or did you?
It was from memory, and it was so fun. I keep trying to go on vacation with my people and my stories, but my people tell me I need to stay in the suburbs with my people. I'm like, my people like to travel.
Right.
Yeah.
Whenever I can sneak in a little travel.
I mean, you are really good about the suburb thing is really good, and I like how you do that. But it was nice to see them travel somewhere in this one.
Too, and just have mountains and greenery and scenery that was different. So thank you. I think that's why I got back and forth between Ohio suburbs and Southern California suburbs, because at least it's changing it up a bit.
I feel like in Best Day Ever, they were in the car a lot too, which I found really interesting. Are they in the car for it's been several years since we read it.
Yeah, they were in the car a lot.
I loved that.
I loved that.
Being having a big part of the book play out over a small period of time in a very confined space
and that's hard to do because there's there's only so much going on in a car. I mean, you did a really good job with that, because that's all you got. You don't have anything else to work with.
You can grip the steering wheel.
Yeah, you can.
It's a lot of subtlety, right? Yeah.
Mirror.
Yep.
Yeah. And we did. That's all we've been doing. Car trips lately. So in fact, we're going on another one this weekend because that's all we do. And we're, I know. Actually, my husband and I love road trips. So, I mean, not in the
I do too. I like road trips.
It's fun.
Too.
Yeah.
I think it's either you love it or hate it kind of thing. I'm on the love camp. What about you, Liz? You good with road trips? Or I don't even know this about you.
I've done a significant one, but I would love to do one. But we haven't done a major. But Kaira, I will say I am in need of some Rouda family selfies. And so I don't know who has the arm in your but they're always perfect.
They're always perfect.
I need one this weekend. Will you tag us in it?
Is everyone going? Or
I will tag you. No, that's a thing. All of a sudden they're all grown up, and there's no more pandemic really, so they're back. I mean, there is, but they're back to work. Everybody's work opened up.
Yeah.
So we had a good run of selfies going, and I would have tagged you guys for sure had I known that you felt this strongly. However, they're all back in their lives now.
Fine. We'll take you and Harley and the dogs.
Yeah, now it's just a bunch of dogs.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Okay, cover. I mentioned earlier that we're going to ask about this.
I want to take a picture of us all holding the cover. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to put it up like that.
Yeah, let's do it. And while she's taking the picture, why don't you tell us about how, what was your involvement in this? Was it an immediate situation, or did you have to go through a bunch of rounds to get here?
I got to do it one more.
This, no.
Oh, wow.
Actually barking, I'm sorry.
Listen, buddy, it's not your interview. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, I got it. Sorry, everybody.
Okay, you got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about how the cover
The great thing, so they presented 2 covers, and one was 2 women in kind of an glass office building, and you could see their silhouettes. One was on one floor and one was on the other. It was really pretty, kind of at a distance. And then the next one was this. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah, this is it. It's amazing. And just being able to, I mean, you just see her everywhere.
This is a book that you're going to pick up. A man or a woman is going to pick this up, like in the airport or wherever it is, because you just want to know. I mean, that's what you want, right? A cover that just...
I also think it's on brand. I think it's, and I have like a sales and marketing background, so I'm really, at least, and as I always say, this is really on brand with your books. It's something that I always appreciate. Like, I looked at that, I'm like, yeah, that looks like a Kaira Rouda book. I
agree. I was so happy, Liz, because my background's that too. And when I saw this, I'm like, wow, I can really, it brought the story to life instantly. And, in such a simple way. And I love how simple it is. So I'm hoping my next one will be blessed with a cover like this, because it's just, it's great. It's great.
And then
I love it.
What about title?
Well, I had the title that came to my mind with Tish originally was The Second Wife. And then when we signed the deal and started doing the rounds of edits, another book came out with The Second Wife title. So I'm like, they called and said, you know what, we should change the title. So we changed The Next Wife. And then a couple months later, a book came out with The Next Wife title. So, we could have just stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next Wife better, though, I think. Than
I do too.
I do too.
I think I like it better.
Shorter and I agree. I think all things work out. It's just, it's really been a great experience with her. I picture her like right now clinging with bright red fingernails onto the Amazon charts, trying to hang on as all these great made books come out.
Listen, she's going to stay there. She's solidly going to stay there.
Not this lady off.
I mean, because come on, nobody messes around with this chick.
Come on.
She's going to stay there.
There's some big dogs out. She's like,
yeah. There's been a lot of news. Just in the last 2 weeks, there's just been an incredible of great books.
Great books.
Yeah.
Great books. Yeah. I know. The competition's fierce. So she's happy that she's had the run she has. So she's just, happy to be there.
Yeah, as far as it'll take her. Well, we were on a Zoom the other night, and I really like this question, so I'm going to steal it. What advice would you give your debut novelist self? Based on everything you know now, what would you go back and tell yourself?
I would say that, I guess, once the story is finished and the book is finished, just to try to enjoy it more after it's published, I think, because back then, coming straight from a nonfiction book where you had to go travel the country and speak, and I'm like, wait, no, I wrote everything that I had to say in my business book. I felt a lot of that kind of marketing pressure, which we all feel to go around, but I feel like I didn't step back and enjoy it as much as I should have. So that's what I would say. And it's funny because Here Home Hope was, I don't even know what you call it, small press or hybrid published or whatever. That was my first novel. That when I had my first big traditional novel published, which was Best Day Ever, they considered me a debut after 6.
Right.
So my debut self that time around was much more prepared to be like, this is awesome.
That was, I remember they had posters of BEA.
Yeah, BEA, the humongous poster.
Huge I know you guys were there too. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, it was shocking, it was so fabulous. And by that time, 7 years later or whatever it was, I did have a chance to tell myself like, wow, just enjoy this. Because, it's special. So
if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the same advice that the other author that we asked gave her debut self. Lisa,
yeah,
it
was to appreciate and sort of live in the moment with it, and not, when the book comes out, then you're just, how's it doing? What's it doing? And it's just more like just
what's
be
the
like,
next book? What's
right?
the,
we don't celebrate anything, so we
don't.
We're just like, okay, on to the next. It's something that we want to change, and we always say change, and then something good happens, and we don't celebrate it. We're just like, okay.
And then we were. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that's what, because it's such a hard industry. It is. I mean, people, I don't know if they realize that it's a great industry and it's full of amazing people, but it's tough. It is. So you owe it to yourself to celebrate the good things.
Right.
And I think that the author was saying it's so much easier, or maybe we were saying that, someone said this, it's somehow it's easier to focus on the things that go wrong instead of the things that are going right. And so I think that's something that I'm really going to try to stick with, especially after this last year, is like try to focus more on the good things, because it's an up and down industry. We just all know that. So just to focus on that you're on the charts right now, and that, the cover is beautiful and all the things,
Right.
So
yeah. All the things, absolutely. Yeah, and I get to talk to you guys and support a bookstore. And, there's a lot of blessings.
What is up next for you? Can you share a little bit about your next project?
I can. It's called Somebody's Home right now. Hopefully it'll still be called that. And it comes out January 18th of 2022. So, pretty fast. So, yeah.
Okay.
So it's another domestic suspense. This time, since the next wife was in Ohio, Somebody's Home is set in Orange County. So there you go.
There you go.
There's books in Orange County.
So do I. I'm excited.
Yes. I'm excited too. It's I think I have the tagline, which will change as one home, two families, too many secrets.
Ooh, I'm in.
Yeah,
I am. Sign me up. I love your books.
Thank you. Yeah, there's some characters you'll love to hate again. I'm sure. I
think Matt might be popping on in a minute, but to see if there's questions. But we always like to ask what books you've read lately that you would recommend, or not even lately, just what books would you recommend to people right now?
Yeah, I love The Last Flight by Julie Clark, and that's paperback. It's so good, right? I'm looking over here because it's my books. The Good Sister, Sally Hepworth. That was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I want to read that.
Yeah, it's really good. 6 Weeks to Live. I love that. That's really good.
Yep.
I'm going to be reading The Woman with the Blue Star by Pam Jenoff. So that's
that's going crazy right now. Really good success with that. That's the one I sent to your. Is that the one I sent to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my mother-in-law is like a psycho Pam Jenoff, and we're friends with Pam, so she sends her emails and then so we had a copy of her book and sent it to her, which was really kind. And she freaked out because she loves Pam.
I know Pam's so nice too. I met her at a book signing in DC, and I just kind of popped in. I'm like, hi. So nice. Yeah,
she's super genuine.
Have you guys heard of A Boob's Life?
Oh yeah, Leslie Lair. Salma Hayek is developing that.
And it's so good. It's a memoir about her life as a woman and how it affects, how breasts and American culture kind of collide to form who we all are. I really enjoyed that a lot. It's
really good.
I'm curious. Yeah, we've been Facebook friends with her for a long time, but I'm really happy for all the success she's having.
Yeah, she actually went to my high school. She was older than me, but so I got to read an advanced copy. It's really good. It's really worth it. It brings back a lot of memories of growing up too.
Oh, that's
Definitely gonna have to check that out.
I know.
That sounds good.
Yes. So is that enough, or do you guys want more?
No, that's fine.
No, I think that's. Oh, well, here he is.
Oh, there's
Hi.
Matt. He's
Oh,
Matt.
what have you, Liz and Lisa, been reading? Your bookshelf, Lisa, is beautiful. I love the color coordinated. I'm not enough to do that.
I'm sort of obsessed with doing the whole rainbow thing. I have it downstairs as well. I'm halfway through Lauren Weisberger's next book. I think it comes out next week. Where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. I think is the title, right, Liz? I think that's it. I'm halfway through that, and I'm really loving it. And let's see, what am I going to do next? I have a huge stack. I have B.A. Paris's that I want to read. Liv Constantine's The Stranger in the Mirror. I want to do Mary Kubika's. There's just not enough time, and I'm going to Chicago tomorrow, and I'm like, how many books can I? It's just a 3-day trip, but I'm probably going to bring 4 books.
Yeah, that's so fun.
You may have saw on Instagram yesterday, my daughter had a 90-minute procedure, and I, for some reason, brought 3 books with me. I don't know what was going on. I was almost done with one. My husband's like, it only is going to take 90 minutes. I was like, I don't know. So I just finished last week The 9 Lives of Rose Napolitano by Donna Freitas. And, that book hasn't gotten, I think, a lot of the love that it deserves. We interviewed her a couple months ago. So the book has recently come out, but it is so good. I definitely think it's probably one of the best books I've read this year. I also just finished Who is Maud Dixon by Alexandra Andrews.
I want to read that.
Kaira, I definitely think it's got some psychopaths in it.
Maybe.
Why do you look at me and say that?
Well, I think you'll appreciate the way she writes her characters.
I've got that one.
I also just finished How Lucky.
Yeah, I'll bring that one with me tomorrow because
you should. How Lucky by Will Leitch. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's a book of the month pick this month. And it is really, really good. So that's kind of on a reading binge. I either binge a ton or read nothing at all. So I'm on a binge right now.
So fun.
But you got to bring yourself options when you have situations like that because you don't know what mood you're going to be in.
Right. Exactly. And then if you finish one, and I do not read electronically, so that's the other thing. I have to be very smart in my packing choices.
Right.
But I always want to in case I just am feeling shifting, because I'll read multiple books at the same time. I don't know if you guys do that, but I will. I'll jump.
I'll listen to one and read one.
Oh my gosh, I cannot do that.
Oh, you can't?
No.
Sometimes it's like a TV series. I might just be I need a break, like Handmaid's Tale. I cannot watch that many in a row. I have got to stop. And so that's sometimes it's like that with me for a book. I just have to stop that, and then I go over to something else, and then I go back to that. My Dark Vanessa was like that for me. It took me a while. I had to keep. I don't know if you guys read that one, but that was intense, and I couldn't read it straight through. But it was very good. If that makes any sense.
It does. I just finished Northern Spy by Flynn Barry. And
I have that one sitting here too.
Still sweating from it. It was so anxiety-provoking in such a good way.
Okay, now I'm gonna grab that you're helping me choose because I have all these. So now I'm gonna do that one too. Okay, so now I'm that and my Lauren Weisberger. Okay, I've got my 3. I cannot go over that though because I'm not checking a bag. So that's all I got.
Thrillers are a new genre for me. Thriller and mystery. So I've been having fun diving into those and learning so much about them with events like this as well.
Right. Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah. That's
why you have to have shades, clearly.
There's some dark stuff in these.
Woo. Now it's really bright in here.
It's really bright.
Now it's
I'm not taking them off. So sorry about that. But I really appreciate being here.
All right, so question for Kaira. What was your favorite piece of research or element of the story that didn't make it into the final version?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, Ashlyn, the daughter, almost got cut all the way out. So I'm glad she's back in. she had a tough time there for a minute. Let's see. Well, as far as research goes, most of it's pretty much from my life experiences, which is kind of strange to say and a little scary. But usually in my books, my characters will mention something to me while I'm just pantsing along about how they want to kill somebody. One of them will, and it'll be something I have to research because I literally don't go around thinking of ways to kill people. Although in The Favorite Daughter, Jane, the main character, that's all she was obsessed with. She would just think of all the ways you can die in your house. And so then I had to learn about those things. But yeah, so in this case too, one of the characters was like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do it. And I'm like, what? You can't do that. And sure enough, you can't. But
How do you research how to kill people? Like, what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I can't really tell you in this. I can't really tell you in any of them. But I mean, so for example, in The Favorite Daughter, Jane knew more people died from falling coconuts and palm trees than by shark attacks, right? Because that's like something we all have heard about. But while she's fascinated with stuff, while I'm writing her character, she's loading the dishwasher, and she's like, I wonder how many people die of dishwasher. So then I'll be, how many people die of dishwasher? Sure enough, you leave your knife sticking up.
That was one of my favorite scenes of the book, too.
Yeah.
She's having those. It's early on, isn't it? Isn't it that early on in the book?
And somebody's still hungry, apparently. And she'd be just walking through her house, and she's like, how many people die just falling down the stairs? I'm like, I don't know. Let's find out. So, So that my research, my search history browser is terrifying, really. I mean, I should probably
the FBI is going to have something to say to you if they ever confiscate your
I know.
computer.
I mean,
we had to cut a break line for a book, and that we had to do a significant amount of research. Like, do you cut it? Do you prick it? Like, how long before the breaks go? We had a whole.
You just need to ship the book to your local FBI station. Be like, hey, just so you know.
I swear it was for this. I promise. Oh my goodness.
Although I do feel validated about the putting the knife points down. Like, I'm very meticulous about that because I have that fear.
Good. Yes, it's a real thing. Death by dishwasher. Also, Jane found out through me, although she had it in her little character brain, that those canisters of whipped cream, you can buy at Williams-Sonoma that are you make your own whipped cream things. Well, those things, if you don't screw it on all the way, boom, people take their heads off. So just be careful of those as well.
Oh,
Jane,
good to know.
Good.
Maybe we'll kill someone in the next book. We'll have someone secretly unscrew their Williams-Sonoma whipped cream, and it has ice cream sundae.
That's a suburban murder if I've ever heard one.
It is a suburban murder.
I want to have in Orange County, Kara, for sure.
There's all kinds of things that can kill people.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That cyanide in the cherry pits.
Yeah, that's a way. Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's not worth it. Just go with the Ready Whip, people.
Yeah,
I know. Seriously, so it's a lot less expensive too.
Well, yeah, it depends what you use because some things evaporate really quickly. So that's just saying for a friend. Oh my gosh.
All right. So we don't get in trouble. Another question. Is it difficult keeping track of events when you have multiple characters? How do you manage that?
Because we were talking about, we don't like to outline, and we're all learning to outline now, aren't we? Not really, because my characters are waiting to say something about what whoever's on stage at the time is saying, so they're all paying attention in that pantser kind of crazy way. But I do, when I'm writing, I'll keep at page 7, Tish stops, and then I know who's had their fair share because some of the characters want to talk all the time, so I have to make sure that they're getting their fair share. But not really, because the story just it's so fun when it's rolling out and everybody has their say, and it's really fun.
It's sort of the opposite problem of I imagine what Liz and Lisa have, because you're two people writing the same story. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Liz.
I have to tell Liz to stop all the time. I mean, Liz just wants to write, and I gotta tell her, listen, no.
I'm joking because it's actually like Lisa, like even if we're on a every other week like schedule, which it depends like what's going on in our lives, how we do our schedules. Like, so if I have a week, I'll write a chapter, and then Lisa was like, be like, ah! and write her chapter and give it to me the next day. But like she doesn't write it the next week. Like she just, and she
I mean that happens sometimes. It's happening on this book, but it hasn't always happened in the past. And I think in a weird way it's happening on this book because we wrote the outline. Because now I know exactly what to do. I don't have to sit down and think, where are they? What's going on? I don't have to give it any pre-thought. I already know. So then it's like, it's like.
You would have hated it, our outline. How many words was our outline?
Like 10,000, like 12,000 words.
Oh, girl. Yeah. It would have given you
That's my fault. It's my fault. It was I don't know. I'm blaming myself.
Now you know where you're going.
But hopefully.
It is easier now to do it.
It is.
Imagine that, having an outline.
But we're still fluid within, so like we have the outline of what's going to happen, but then we're still fluid within that. So I don't feel like confined to it at all. In fact, it's better than it's not. Like I like it more than I thought I would, just because because the time saver. It's a time saver.
Bitty thing, because then you can also, like, if you're in one of those moments where your mind's like, I don't really know, then you look at that outline and you're like, oh, you're going the right direction.
Right.
It's like a rudder, but it doesn't have to always like keep you in the same lane. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, we're all learning new things.
We are.
Gosh,
I think I might write my next chapter with these sunglasses on. And feel like I don't know. I'm just thinking I might, or maybe I'm just. What?
I know. Well, it's good with the ring lights because your eyes don't get hurt. Well, I mean, I don't know how appealing it is to watch as a viewer, but
I don't know either. I
think it's a great aesthetic. I'm upset that I don't know where my sunglasses are because they're prescription and I've lost them for a long time, and I need them now because I have to go outside.
You do have to go outside now, yes. Yeah, so you'll have to find them.
Well, I think Kaira's ring light's like an LED. Girl, that
is so bright.
Yeah, I mean, even with my sunglasses.
It's so bright. I know, and it's reflecting off my fluff.
How big is it? It must be giant. It must be like.
No, it's this big.
That's it?
Kaira has like the perfect in her office.
It must be like,
I know. Come in, take pictures.
I know. It's all perfect. Have your kid come in and sit. Have your kid come in and sit with you, and we can.
Okay, yeah, it's all perfect.
Oh, Stacey Price just said hi. Hi, Stacey.
Oh, hi.
Aw, Stacey.
All right, so hi, Stacey. This question is for all of you. What is your favorite trope in the thriller genre to subvert, and why?
Here, you go first.
Well, I mean, recently in The Next Wife, probably the, I guess the trope of the younger women winning with the older man.
Right.
So, yeah.
Lisa, do you? I was sitting here trying to.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we're even qualified to answer. We just have the two that we wrote. Kaira's much more qualified to answer this question.
It qualifies, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
or you can say your favorite example of a subverted trope you've read or watched in a show lately.
I mean, I like we do a lot of stuff about friendship. I mean, I don't know if it's really a trope per se, but I think a lot of that, you know what I'm trying to say. I don't know why. I'm having a hard time with this one, but I'm going to take Kaira's, the younger.
You like when one friend kills another friend, or one friend assumes another friend's identity? How about a twin who takes another twin's identity?
I do like that, and we've actually tried to figure out how to write that several times. So
we wanted to do a triplets at one point to kind of put a different spin on it. See why we're not qualified to have this conversation?
We're in rom-com land right now.
Yeah.
I
I
almost
can't
put
even.
my water on that one.
What is your favorite rom-com genre trope to subvert? Because there's so many in that one too.
Oh God! Now you turned it. I just made it worse. Now I got to come up with that.
I'll say my favorite thing that I've seen lately that was like a subversion of the genre. I can't remember the movie's name, but it's the girl who takes revenge on like someone from her past. What was it called? This is why.
This makes me feel better, actually.
Yeah.
You're making me feel better.
Okay, I gave you some time to think. Now,
Well, I like the mistaken identity, or like something like that kind of. I'm trying to think of one. Promising Young Woman.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that was
I
so
need to watch that.
I haven't watched that yet.
You
I need to
guys,
do
what are
that.
you
I know.
doing?
I don't. I'm watching Handmaid's Tale, and it's
I know, that's
forever
good
because
too.
it's so upsetting that I can only watch one every like 4 or 5 days because it takes me that long to get over the last episode. So, but I need to move on to that.
it would be pretty cathartic if that's what you're watching.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
And shout out to Pam for
Thanks,
that
Pam.
out
That
with
was
the
perfect.
super vague fiction.
Yeah, I don't even know how that just happened because you were like that one thing with the she's like promising young woman. Like, I don't know how that happened.
Oh, man.
I mean, I think it was a pretty accurate summary if you've seen the movie.
Yeah. Right.
It's so good. So good. I love the movie.
All right, I'll give you a pass on the thriller or on the genre one.
I think you better.
And
They seem to be suffering.
My brain just like melted. I was like, I can't think. I'm like,
Yeah.
Get them out of their misery.
I was like, I just
Move on.
can't.
Pam pretty much saved the day, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
this is why I married my wife.
Pam.
She's really great at this stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so question for Liz and Lisa, and then I will spin it into a question for Kira. So you guys have a TV show being developed out of one of your books, right?
right.
Here we turn 40. Can you give us any updates on that and what to expect?
Yeah. So I think, and I know there's a couple authors on here, and they'll all relate. So it's in development, which basically means I believe there's a pilot script written that they're trying to move forward. So it's past the option stage, which is great. But we always make the joke, like my mother-in-law will always call my husband and she's like, tell me when it's going to be on the air. And we're like, oh my God, girl, like don't like set your, I'm going to age myself by telling someone to set their TiVo, but it's.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. DVR. But your Hulu might put
Just
on your
stream it.
Hulu list.
What are you doing?
Yes.
Yeah. It's still alive. They actually just renewed the option. So when you have an option, they pay you money to hold it every year, and it's a year-to-year typically thing. And they just renewed it, which is really good news. It means that they're still hopeful that the pilot will get picked up. I think COVID set it back, but I think cross your fingers. I think they're looking at all access now to try to place it, but it will have a different name and. They've taken some creative liberty in their mind, a couple creative liberties. It's pretty different. So sorry, my computer's about to go dead. So anything to add, Lisa? Did I do?
You did great. I think it's called, at this point, it's called This Is Your Life, Avery Scott. And
happy birthday, Avery Scott. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Avery Scott. And it's going to be a half an hour format. So, and it sounds really good. So hopefully we will have good news to bring to you in the coming year. I'm going to be optimistic.
Yeah.
I'm going to be optimistic too.
Yeah.
So, Kira.
Yes. Nothing. I got nothing on the option side. Yep. I got a lot of content though. Anybody interested?
I'm the kind of person.
Yeah, producers, it's on the Amazon charts. Like everyone's reading it. Come on.
It would be
Give her a call.
It would be a good
Yeah.
limited series, I think.
Yeah, it would be.
So my question for you though is, when I read books, I always think about like who are these people in real life? So is there anyone you're like, I know who would play Tish or any of the other characters? Do you think that way?
I don't think that way. And I mean, I'm often asked that, and I'm terrible about casting. And so then I'll say, so what about you? Did you think of anybody when you were reading? Because as far as I'm concerned, anybody that would like to make it into a movie or a TV show would be happy. I mean, it's so subjective, and there's so much great talent out there that, I really don't have anybody. Do you have anybody? Like for Tish? I know. It'd be cool if she had like a little bit of a Southern accent, but other than that, I don't have like a name. The narrator of the audiobook has that, and it's not like a thick accent. It's just like the hint of an accent. It works really well.
75% of the stuff that I read is audiobooks, so very influenced by the narrators.
Yeah. Aren't they amazing?
Yeah, they are.
They're just acting, and it's it's so fun when they send like the clips, and they're like, "Do you like these for your characters or whatever?" I'm like, "Yes, this is so fun to like hear it come to life."
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course I love it. Like it's being done. Like these are my words. Someone's
right.
Yeah, so fun. But yeah, I'm just they're all available.
Take your pick.
Take your pick. Oh my gosh. I hear domestic suspense is hot.
It is.
I heard that too.
I know.
I heard that too.
I got a figure. Mm-hmm.
That and cults.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That cult documentaries. I watched so many of those this year.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it makes you feel better about where you are compared to that. Yeah. Suspense too. I kind of look like I have a plant growing out of my head. I really don't. It's just behind me, but it's like a little distracting.
You
just noticed it right now.
All right. Well, that is all the questions I have. And y'all already talked about what's next, right?
Yep.
So for everyone who's listening out there, where can they find you out in the world and social media? Or I know Liz and Lisa have a podcast as well. Is that correct?
We do. We have a podcast, and I think Liz knows better than I do how many episodes, but is that 15, 16 episodes?
About 15 or 16 right now.
Yeah. And it's called We Fight So You Don't Have To, and you can find it anywhere that podcasts are.
What is that about? It's a great name.
Well, we've been friends. Oh, thank you. Liz thought of it in the middle of the night. She woke up one day and it's just like, we have to have a podcast and it should be called this. And I was like, okay, sounds great. We've been friends for, almost for a long time. I can't even say it. And we've just had a lot of ups and downs. And so we kind of talk about that. We could go back over, high school, college, the things we've learned, the publishing industry, you name it. And we have a lot of funny stories from that time and a lot of lessons learned. And then we'll talk about books and authors and that world too. And so it's just, we're having. Yeah. And you can find all of that stuff too in our Instagrams, Lisa and Liz, but lizandlisa.com has all of our links, and it has a YouTube link, and that has all of our segments from the local San Diego Fox News every month. If we have book recommendations there, and you can click on those and get 4 book recommendations every month.
Cool. Yeah. Can never have enough book recommendations.
No.
That is very true.
And Kaira, what about you? Where can we find you?
You can find me at kairarouda.com, which is really hard to spell and say. So it's KAIRAROUDA.com. Lots of vowels. And everywhere on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all that too. But I do not have a podcast.
Just by
you should have one with Franklin. You and Franklin. And yes.
Uh-huh.
That's
I'm gonna leave that to you guys.
Yeah.
No more. No, it's all good. It's all good. But Thank you guys so much for agreeing to talk with me, and thank you for hosting us.
Yes, thanks
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So nice. And,
It was our pleasure.
I can't wait to be in person sometime soon too.
I know.
Drinks.
It will be
for sure.
You want to pick up your copy?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And then you have to do a next wife selfie. It's like prerequisite. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely get those books. Post a selfie. Tag Kaira. Tag us. We like seeing pictures of the books that you get from the store. And otherwise, thank you so much. Like, this was such a great conversation. I had a lot of fun chatting with y'all. And everyone who attended, thank you so much, and have a great night.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.